Welcome to Fanfiction Audiobook. Marvel Super Extraction. Chapter 61. After killing the man who was close to him, Zhang Yuan continued to charge at the white-haired young man, and then two more people charged at him. Seeing this, Zhang Yuan spun around and hit one of them with a whirlwind kick. Then, the force from the hit bounced up and he attacked another person with a dolly battle axe-style chop. The other person who was attacked saw this and his face changed drastically. Then, he crossed his hands to protect himself and blocked Zhang Yuan's legs. Crack! Although this person reacted quickly, his resistance to Zhang Yuan's battle axe chop was completely ineffective. There was only the sound of bones breaking, and then his hand was suddenly broken. When his arm was broken, his body suddenly flew backwards like a cannonball, flying 7 or 8 meters away, and fell heavily to the ground, blood spurting out of his mouth, and he was dead. After chopping the two men to death, Zhang Yuan did not continue to attack the white-haired young man immediately, but suddenly stopped, then looked around at the people around him, and said coldly, "If you want to die, just come up. Go together. Kill him. Who does he think he is?" Zhang Yuan's ruthless attack naturally scared the others around him. Although they were a little scared, it did not mean that they dared not to take action. A fierce light flashed in their eyes, and then they rushed towards Zhang Yuan again. When they attacked, they all picked up weapons. Some took out daggers like lock, and some picked up a crowbar or something from the side. Kill! Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed with cold light, and then he rushed towards these people. When he rushed forward, he just slightly turned his body to avoid the dagger attack of one of them. At the same time, he grabbed the other's arm holding the dagger with one hand, swung him up, and then swung at another person holding a dagger next to him. Bang! The other person wielding the dagger was immediately swung away by Zhang Yuan. After swinging the man away, he did not stop there, but swung the man he had caught, constantly sweeping, slashing up, slashing down, and slashing diagonally. For a moment, figures flew everywhere, and the sound of broken bones continued. The 5 car thieves who rushed to the front were all beaten badly by Zhang Yuan's attack. They didn't all die, but they were all seriously injured. And the man who was swung by Zhang Yuan kept spitting blood, and he was breathing more than he was breathing out. Bang! Just at this moment, a gunshot rang out. One of the car thieves holding guns suddenly shot at Zhang Yuan again. His shooting was quite abrupt, and the bullet was aimed at Zhang Yuan's body. Under normal circumstances, such a sudden attack would have a high chance of hitting the target. But under such an attack, Zhang Yuan just smiled coldly, and then moved his body to the side, relying on his super reaction, he dodged the bullet. Shit! The man who fired the gun looked very unhappy when he saw this. He was so angry that he fired a series of bullets again, but none of them hit Zhang Yuan. They just left a series of bullet holes on the ground. Stop it! Just at this moment, the white-haired young man's face darkened, and then he spoke suddenly. As he spoke, the people around him who were shooting suddenly stopped shooting. Are you sure you want to die? You have angered me. After asking the people around to stop, the white-haired young man spoke coldly to Zhang Yuan, with a cold light flashing in his eyes. Don't show off, it's easy to get struck by lightning. Zhang Yuan smiled coldly without commenting, then raised his right hand to the white-haired young man with the middle finger. Looking for death? The white-haired young man shouted angrily, and then he slapped out with his right hand. As he did so, a terrifying cold air suddenly enveloped Zhang Yuan's position. Zhang Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly, then dodged to the side and avoided the attack. When he dodged the attack, the cold air stimulated by the white-haired young man passed through the position where Zhang Yuan had stood before, freezing a pillar behind him into ice. Can you aim a little bit? Zhang Yuan dodged the attack and said coldly to the white-haired young man. Kill! The white-haired young man shouted again, and then he slapped out with his left hand. Suddenly, a cold air enveloped Zhang Yuan again. At the same time as the cold air attacked, without waiting for Zhang Yuan to dodge, the white-haired young man slapped out with his right hand. One palm, one palm. The white-haired young man kept waving his palms, and the terrifying cold air kept covering Zhang Yuan's position. But, dodge, dodge. Zhang Yuan relied on his super reaction and amazing speed to dodge those attacks one after another. However, although he dodged the attack, some of the objects and people behind him could not dodge the attack. The cold air froze them into ice sculptures. In a blink of an eye, the white-haired young man attacked for more than 10 moves. That is, with more than 10 moves of continuous attack, the white-haired young man's breathing obviously became a little Jew. Although mutants have special powers that ordinary people cannot have, these powers cannot be used endlessly. Once they reach a certain level, they will also cause a certain burden on their bodies. Although the white-haired young man in front of him has the ability of ice, judging from his attacks, his mutant level is not high, and the power contained in his body has not reached a very terrifying level, otherwise his breathing would not have become Jew after more than 10 moves. Damn it! Seeing that he had failed to hit Zhang Yuan with more than 10 consecutive attacks, the white-haired young man was furious. He then infused cold air under his feet, and immediately the cold air started to rush towards Zhang Yuan's position. During the rush, the ground was frozen layer by layer, and the speed of freezing was very fast. You're courting death. Zhang Yuan smiled coldly, and before the frost could cover him, he pointed out with his right hand, and immediately a high-voltage pulse arc covered the condensed ice on the ground. Ah! Then, screams were heard, and the frost that was rushing towards Zhang Yuan suddenly stopped. Ice is conductive. Chapter 62. The electric shock almost stunned the white-haired young man. He screamed and his body trembled. His hair stood up and his body turned black. The white-haired young man looked like he was struck by lightning. The high-voltage pulse Xiao Tian triggered was very powerful. The guy in front of him was a mutant, not an ordinary person. If he were an ordinary person, he would definitely die immediately after being shocked by such an electric shock. Look, I've warned you, don't act cool, or you'll be struck by lightning, do you believe it now? After shocking the white-haired young man with a high-voltage pulse, Zhang Yuan said calmly. Boss! Big brother! How is this possible? Damn, this guy is not only physically strong, he can also do energy attacks like a boss. The miserable state of the white-haired young man made the remaining car thieves around him look ugly. At the same time, everyone looked at Zhang Yuan with obvious fear. In the hearts of these car thieves, the white-haired young man was an extremely powerful existence. The boss had led them to rob the territory, and he was able to beat more than 100 people by himself. But now the boss has become like this in such a short time. It is really hard to believe. I want you to die. To the shock of the people around him, the white-haired young man trembled for a while, then regained consciousness, and then roared hysterically at Zhang Yuan. While roaring, he suddenly stimulated his ice power to the maximum extent. The terrifying cold air broke out again with him as the center, and attacked Zhang Yuan again. This time the cold air did not attack from the ground, but from the sky. When the cold air broke out, it was seen that the cold air actually formed dozens of ice swords in the air, and then fell from the sky and quickly stabbed towards Zhang Yuan. The speed of the ice sword stabbing was quite fast. It was many times faster than the attack speed of the white-haired young man at the beginning. This attack is good, but it's still too slow. Zhang Yuan said calmly, and when the attack came, he suddenly flashed to the left and dodged the attack. Boom boom boom. When Zhang Yuan dodged the ice sword, he saw the ice sword pierce through the floor. If such an attack landed on a person, it would definitely penetrate the person in one go. It's not over yet. Ice sword storm. The white-haired young man shouted, completely ignoring the burden that the crazy urging of the icy energy would put on his body. A large number of ice swords condensed from the sky again and attacked Zhang Yuan. When the ice swords condensed in the sky, a large number of ice swords appeared in front, behind, left and right of Zhang Yuan's body, and stabbed at him at the same time. Zhang Yuan's eyes were cold. The attack of the white-haired young man made him feel a certain danger. He took a deep breath, and then used his body speed to the extreme. When the ice sword fell, he suddenly grabbed the gap and jumped out. Rumble! When Zhang Yuan rushed out, the ice swords where Zhang Yuan was originally located collided with each other, causing an explosion. It's a pretty good attacking move. Zhang Yuan praised. He had to admit that the power of the white-haired young man's ultimate move was quite strong. If he hadn't strengthened the cheetah's speed not long ago, which further enhanced his reaction speed and running speed, he would not have been able to escape unscathed if he had just relied on dodging. How can you be so fast? Seeing Zhang Yuan dodge his ultimate move, the white-haired young man asked Zhang Yuan in a pale voice. Although the ultimate move is powerful, it also consumes a lot of energy. It's not that I'm fast, but that you're too weak. Do you have any tricks left? If not, it's time to end it. Zhang Yuan stared at the white-haired young man indifferently. As he finished speaking, he ran towards the white-haired young man. Seeing this, the white-haired young man ignored the load on his body and quickly urged the icy energy to attack Zhang Yuan again, but he failed to hit Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan dodged twice and came to the side of the white-haired young man. When he came here, he punched out. Bang! A loud roar sounded, and then the white-haired young man flew backwards and hit the ground heavily. When he hit the ground, a large amount of ice on his body shattered, and blood spurted out of his mouth. The reason why the ice chips shattered was that the white-haired young man saw that he could not avoid Zhang Yuan's attack, so he formed a layer of ice on the surface of his body. Such ice can resist most attacks for him. But Zhang Yuan's punch was not small. It broke the ice layer in one go, and then acted on the white-haired young man. However, although Zhang Yuan broke the ice layer also unloaded a lot of power for the white-haired young man, so that the white-haired young man was not killed by Zhang Yuan's punch. Seeing that he failed to kill the white-haired young man with one punch, Zhang Yuan was slightly surprised, and then he raised his foot and approached the white-haired young man step by step. Although his punch did not kill the white-haired young man, the white-haired young man had been seriously injured. Do not come! Damn it, I told you not to come over here. Stop right there! Seeing Zhang Yuan like this, the white-haired young man could no longer maintain his previous arrogant look, and shouted at Zhang Yuan in panic, but Zhang Yuan did not stop. I am a member of the Brotherhood. If you dare to kill me, you will be retaliated by the Brotherhood. Seeing that his roar had no effect on Zhang Yuan, the white-haired young man threatened Zhang Yuan in a stern voice. Hey! Brotherhood? Are you Magneto's subordinate? Zhang Yuan subconsciously stopped. That's right, I am Magneto's subordinate. If you dare to kill me, you will die miserably. If you don't want to die, get out of here right now. I can pretend that this incident never happened. The white-haired young man snorted coldly. He said that he would pretend that it never happened, but he had made up his mind in his heart that he would definitely call for help and seek revenge once the incident was over. So what if they are Magneto's men? Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed coldly. Chapter 63. The moment the words fell, Zhang Yuan suddenly jumped up, followed by a tomahawk-like chop towards the white-haired young man. Zhang Yuan used 80% of his strength in this attack. The powerful attack tore through the air, making a piercing sonic boom, and hit the white-haired young man like a missile. The white-haired young man opened his eyes wide. He never thought that after he told Zhang Yuan that he was a member of the Brotherhood and a subordinate of Magneto, Zhang Yuan would still dare to attack him. You know, in the mutant circle, Magneto is absolutely a super powerful existence. Anyone who knows Magneto will never dare to offend or provoke him easily. In astonishment, the white-haired young man did not have time to dodge to the side. He could only gratefully activate the power of ice to form a layer of ice on his body again. Snap! Bang! Puff! A sharp sound rang out, and the ice layer on the surface of the white-haired young man was directly shattered under Zhang Yuan's attack. At the same time as the ice layer was shattered, Zhang Yuan continued to attack the white-haired young man without stopping, chopping the white-haired young man into the ground. His ribs were broken, and his flesh and blood were blurred. He was dead. 9527. How much bioenergy did this person contribute? After killing the white-haired young man, Zhang Yuan didn't pay much attention to anything else, and immediately asked 9527 secretly. 1000 bioenergy. 9527 replied quickly. 1000. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed with brilliance. Although he knew that he would have to kill more mutants than ordinary people, he didn't expect that this guy in front of him could provide 1000 bioenergy. 1000 bioenergy is enough to randomly extract the genes of other creatures. Boss. The boss is dead. Nourish. Retreat, retreat, leave here quickly. As soon as the white-haired young man died, the pupils of the remaining car thieves beside him shrank, and they did not dare to stay there any longer. Someone hurriedly shouted to retreat, and as this person shouted, they immediately saw these people rushing towards the gate without hesitation, wanting to escape from here. But Zhang Yuan brought Peter Parker out this time, not only to let Peter Parker make a networking transmitter for him, but also specifically to brush bioenergy. These are all bioenergy. And it was not him who caused trouble for them, but these people stole his car first. So, these people must die. Leave them all to me. A cold voice came out from Zhang Yuan's mouth. When the words fell, Zhang Yuan flicked his fingers and a high-voltage pulse was fired out, hitting the man who was running in the front at once. After hitting this man, Zhang Yuan kept firing, and the high-voltage pulses kept bursting out, which made the people around him tremble and numb. Just when their bodies were numb, Zhang Yuan quickly rushed to the person closest to the door, and then punched him, smashing his heart. After smashing his heart, he approached the second person without stopping, and slapped his left hand on the other person's head. Bang bang bang! There was a series of roars, and in the blink of an eye, 7 or 8 people were killed by Zhang Yuan. Boss, stop it! Seeing Zhang Yuan killing so crazily, Peter Parker's pupils contracted, and he subconsciously called out to Zhang Yuan to stop. While calling out, he also moved closer to Zhang Yuan to stop Zhang Yuan. But as soon as he approached Zhang Yuan, before he could stop Zhang Yuan suddenly pointed out with his right hand, and a high-voltage pulse burst out, instantly hitting Peter Parker, making Peter Parker's body numb and stiff on the spot. If Peter Parker had been prepared, it would have been difficult for Zhang Yuan to stop Peter Parker at once, but Peter Parker never thought that Zhang Yuan would attack him, so he was hit instantly. After numbing Peter Parker with the electric shock, Zhang Yuan continued to kill others without hesitation. Before Peter Parker could recover, he killed the last 3 people at the fastest speed. After Zhang Yuan killed the remaining 3 people, Peter Parker also recovered from his stiff state. When he recovered, he saw the corpses all over the ground, and his face looked very bad. Boss, why did you kill them all? These are all human lives, Peter Parker said to Zhang Yuan excitedly. As for why he called Zhang Yuan boss, it was because he had agreed to be employed by Zhang Yuan, and since they were both in disguise, it was not convenient to call him by his real name. If he exposed his identity, it would be troublesome. Didn't I tell you not long ago that we are not killing people, we are saving people? You saw what they did just now. I came to ask them for a car, but they didn't give me one and they were ready to kill me. It's obvious that this is not the first time they have done this. I don't know how many people have died in their hands. If we don't kill people like this, it will give them the opportunity to continue to harm others. Zhang Yuan said. But, they are the same kind as us after all. If we kill them like this, boss, don't you feel disgusted? Peter Parker said excitedly. I don't feel disgusted, and I don't feel any burden in killing them. Zhang Yuan said. Sorry, boss, I can't accept your offer because we have different ideas. Peter Parker looked at Zhang Yuan deeply, then shook his head apologetically. It's up to you. Zhang Yuan also shook his head and didn't try to persuade him to stay. That's okay, I'll go back first. Peter Parker said as he was about to leave. Wait a minute. Zhang Yuan called Peter Parker. Anything else? Peter Parker stopped and looked at Zhang Yuan suspiciously. Zhang Yuan walked to the place where the white-haired young man died, picked up the car keys from the ground, and then walked to his car. I'll take you back. Also, you forgot to take the spider silk. Even if you don't accept my employment, you are not going to make this spider web launcher for me, right? Oh. Peter Parker responded, then walked to the car silently, opened the door and sat in the passenger seat. Chapter 64. After Peter Parker got in the car, Zhang Yuan didn't say much. He looked around briefly, then spotted a gasoline barrel, and immediately walked to the gasoline barrel, picked up the gasoline barrel and walked to one of the cars, then put the oil barrel on top of the car, and then poked it with his finger. A hole was poked in the gasoline barrel, and gasoline kept flowing out, soaking the car below. Just as the gasoline was flowing out, Zhang Yuan returned to his car, then sat in the stance and suddenly started the car, driving the car out of the factory. When he drove out, he stretched his hand out of the car window and flicked his finger at the gasoline barrel in the distance. Immediately, electricity burst out and hit the oil barrel. Boom! Almost at the moment when Zhang Yuan hit the oil barrel, the strong electric current detonated the gasoline barrel and produced a horrific explosion, and then the flames shot up into the sky, causing a chain reaction, igniting the car below and detonating. Then the entire scrap factory was caught in the explosion. This scrap factory is the base of car thieves. Naturally, the stolen cars in this place are not just Zhang Yuan's sports car, but also other cars. Now these cars are naturally destroyed under the chain reaction of the explosion. Seeing Zhang Yuan's behavior, Peter Parker's pupils subconsciously shrank. Such Zhang Yuan made Peter Parker couldn't help but feel a sense of fear. Destroy the body and cover up all traces. Zhang Yuan looked very skilled, it didn't seem like it was his first time doing this. Zhang Yuan didn't explain to Peter Parker, in fact, this was his second time destroying a body and covering up all traces. After he blew up the abandoned factory, he increased the speed of the car to a maximum, driving Peter Parker at lightning speed. Not long after, he brought Peter Parker back to the door of Peter Parker's uncle's house. After returning here, Zhang Yuan stopped the car and handed the box of spider silk to Peter Parker. Peter Parker took the box in his hand, then gave Zhang Yuan a complicated look, and then said, "I'll start in a moment, and you'll be able to see the finished product of the spider web launcher tomorrow morning." "Yes." Zhang Yuan nodded and said, "Since you are unwilling to accept my employment, I can't let you work in vain. Tell me your bank account number and I will transfer some money to you." "No, it's not a big deal." Peter Parker shook his head. "That's fine." Zhang Yuan smiled when he saw this, and didn't bother about it anymore. As Zhang Yuan said this, Peter Parker opened the car door and got out of the car with the box of spider silk. "When you are done, give me a call tomorrow," Zhang Yuan said to Peter Parker, who got off the car. "Okay." Peter Parker nodded. Then Zhang Yuan started the car and drove away. When Zhang Yuan left like this, Peter Parker looked at the car of Zhang Yuan going away with a complicated feeling. A salary of $1 million. He actually refused a job with a monthly salary of $1 million. Just thinking about it, Peter Parker couldn't help but feel a little heartbroken, and even wondered if he was crazy. If such money could be obtained, it would be of great benefit to himself and his uncles. But, when he thought of Zhang Yuan's crazy killing and not taking human life seriously, Peter Parker couldn't help but resist. He really couldn't accept Zhang Yuan's contempt for life, although, in fact, he knew very well in his heart that what Zhang Yuan said was not wrong. People like that deserved to die. If they were not killed, they would attack others. I don't know how many people would continue to be hurt by those people. But, anyway, they are not police officers. They are really not qualified to judge their lives, and even the police are not qualified. Hey, Peter! Just as Peter Parker was thinking about this, a voice that was very familiar to Peter Parker suddenly sounded, which made his eyes light up subconsciously and he turned around immediately. Suddenly, Peter Parker saw Mary Jane appearing at the wooden fence of the courtyard not far away. When Mary Jane saw Peter Parker looking at her, she walked out of the courtyard. "What is that in your hand?" Mary Jane asked curiously after she walked up to Peter Parker. Nothing," Peter Parker said awkwardly, putting the box behind him. "Peter, can you tell me who is the person who drove to pick you up today?" Although she really wanted to know what was in the box, Mary Jane didn't ask any more questions because of Peter Parker's behavior. Instead, she changed the subject and looked at Peter Parker expectantly. "His name is Zhang Yuan Stark." Peter Parker hesitated and then spoke. "Zhang Yuan Stark? Can you tell me who he is? How did you know him?" Mary Jane said. He is Tony Stark's younger brother. We met by chance at the Osborne Group," Peter Parker said. On the other side, Zhang Yuan drove away from Peter Parker's location and then drove quickly towards the manor. It took more than half an hour to get back to his residence. After returning here, as soon as he arrived at the gate, Jarvis greeted him, and then opened the gate, and Zhang Yuan drove into the manor. After entering the manor, Zhang Yuan parked the car in the garage, and then ran to the bathroom to fill the water. Then he soaked himself in the bathtub. While taking a bath, he summarized the bioenergy he obtained this time and prepared to start the next gene extraction. When he stopped the crime in the 6th district this time, he killed 10 people, which was 1000 bioenergy. Later, he killed 21 car thieves in the scrap factory, one of whom was a mutant. 30 ordinary people, that is, 3000, and 1 mutant, 15, a total of 4005, plus the 1800 points that were not used up in the lottery not long ago, that is, 6300 points, can randomly extract the genes of other creatures 6 times. 6300 points, what genes should I extract? Zhang Yuan's eyes moved and he murmured. Chapter 65. Now I have speed, strength, good reaction, and can sense danger. The only things I lack seem to be recovery, defense, flight, etc. Among these abilities, recovery and defense are obviously the first to be acquired. As for flying, I now have an exoskeleton armor, and I have already got the flying skateboard that Norman Osborn promised me, so there is no rush for the time being. Zhang Yuan's thoughts turned, and he quickly analyzed. As far as recovery is concerned, the only genes I can extract are from earthworms. I killed a lot of earthworms not long ago, and now I have genetic samples of earthworms. As for defense, it seems that the one with the best defense is the ancient mythical beast Suanwu, one of the 4 great mythical beasts in China. But let's not talk about whether there are Suanwu in this world. Even if there are, I certainly can't extract them now. Therefore, if you want to extract Suanwu type defense, you can only find some turtles. Of course, in addition to turtles, there are also some creatures with scales or some creatures with shells. However, I don't know if these gene extractions will cause my body to mutate. Zhang Yuan frowned when he thought of this, and then asked Zhuorqi again. 9527, if I extract the defensive genes of turtles, will it make me grow a turtle shell or something? It will not make the host grow a tortoise shell, but will only strengthen the host's body. When the host activates the defense ability, the host's body will instantly become hard. 9527 said. That's good. In this case, the defense of turtles can be considered. In addition, some animals with thick skin and flesh can also be considered, such as hippos. If they have these defenses, a single one may not be able to completely resist bullets, artillery fire, etc., but if multiple abilities are superimposed, and some powerful recovery genes are added, then my defense will definitely reach a very strong level. It has been decided that the defense of turtles and hippos will be extracted first. In addition, recovery and regeneration abilities must be carried out at the same time, as well as jumping ability. This time when I jumped from the roof with Peter Parker, although there was no problem, I was definitely impacted when I landed. In addition, if there is no accident, jumping should be able to enhance my leg strength. After all, I am a human being. If I really have a strong jumping ability, then the main part to enhance my strength is my legs. As the strength of my legs becomes stronger, the attack power will naturally increase. Therefore, extracting jumping genes and the like is, to some extent, killing two birds with one stone. As far as jumping ability is concerned, fleas are naturally the first choice. The jumping ability of fleas is quite amazing. It's a pity that I only have 6,000 biological energies now. If I had tens of thousands, I could consider some venom attacks and the like. There are many people in this world who have strong defenses. Some people's defenses cannot be broken by ordinary attacks, but the opponent may not be able to withstand poison. After a quick turn of thought, Zhang Yuan decided on the next extraction target. However, it was already dark and very late. Even if he wanted to get some other organisms for extraction, it would not be convenient, so Zhang Yuan thought about it and suddenly said to 9527, randomly extract the genetic abilities of earthworms for me. Spend 1000 bioenergy to randomly extract earthworm genes. Earthworm gene random extraction. Successfully extracted the regeneration ability of earthworms and whether to integrate it. Friendly reminder, this kind of regeneration gene will not allow the host to regenerate 100%. Only when the host's heart is not broken or stops beating, can it have a chance to regenerate other parts of the body. And the recovery of regeneration requires a lot of physical strength, nutritional supply, and a certain amount of time. Accompanying Zhang Yuan's order, 9527 quickly executed the order, followed by a series of mechanical voice prompts. 9527 actually gave Zhang Yuan a good start this time. As soon as it was extracted, the regeneration gene of the earthworm was directly extracted. Although the touch of the earthworm, burrowing in the ground, etc., seems to be quite impressive, but the regeneration gene is really useful to Zhang Yuan. Even if 9527 said that this kind of regeneration gene can only guarantee that he can regenerate when his heart does not stop beating, it is already quite powerful. Immediately fuse it for me. With such a good start, Zhang Yuan naturally gave orders to Zhuorqi without hesitation. Following his order, a strange force suddenly merged into his body and transformed his body genes. Then Zhang Yuan found that he had an extra ability. Regeneration. He obviously had a feeling at this time. As long as his heart did not stop, no matter if his arm was cut off or his head was chopped off, he could actually regenerate and recover. However, such regeneration requires a lot of nutrition and consumes a lot of physical strength. Although it can regenerate, it also has risks. But some small-scale regeneration is completely no problem. For example, the regeneration of a broken finger can definitely be done easily. The regeneration of earthworms alone is obviously not enough. We need to extract the regeneration ability of lizards and geckos and combine the regeneration ability of lizards and geckos with that of earthworms. Then the regeneration ability will definitely be increased to a very strong level, and it will definitely not only be the recovery effect that will be strong, but also the recovery speed. After feeling his own physical condition, Zhang Yuan locked onto two animals again. But as I said, it is already late at night, and it is inconvenient to do so. Someone actually dared to kill members of our brotherhood. How brave he is! Investigate immediately, we must find out who dared to attack someone from my fraternity. The death of a white-haired young man in a base of the Brotherhood drew the attention of his superiors. Chapter 66. Although the Brotherhood is an organization founded by Magneto, and its core members are all mutants, the mutants under his command do not mean that they do not have some ordinary people under their control. After all, mutants also need to live and they also need money. And for an organization like the Brotherhood, the fastest way to make money is naturally some unconventional ways. So the Brotherhood has inner members and outer members. Most of the outer members are cannon fodder, and are not taken seriously by Magneto and others. But even if they are not taken seriously, the death of an outer mutant like the white-haired young man who can continuously supply money to the top of the organization must be investigated. If there is no investigation, it seems that their Brotherhood is easy to bully. For those who dare to bully their Brotherhood members, once they are discovered, there is only one end, death. So after the order from the superior of the white-haired young man, the intelligence network of the mutant organization was immediately launched, and a crazy investigation was conducted to investigate who killed the white-haired young man. At the same time, the police in charge of the 6th block were also investigating the situation. Although the 6th block has always been very chaotic at night. 10 people were killed overnight, and a waste factory exploded late at night. This situation also made the police in the 6th district, Alexander. Zhang Yuan did not pay attention to these for the time being, because he knew that it would be better to improve his strength again as soon as possible. With strong strength, no matter what kind of enemy came, he could deal with it, and at the very least, he could save his life. So, early the next morning, Zhang Yuan called Pepper Potts and asked her to buy some creatures for him. She got him a lizard, a hippopotamus, a turtle, and a flea. Although Pepper Potts was very puzzled, why did Zhang Yuan purchase these creatures early in the morning? Lizards and turtles were still reasonable, but what the hell were hippopotamus and fleas? Especially fleas. Any normal person would not have time to avoid these things, but Zhang Yuan actually asked her to buy them. It must be said that this matter was quite strange. But there was an example of Zhang Yuan buying earthworms and ants. Pepper Potts did not ask much, but faithfully carried out Zhang Yuan's orders. Just when Pepper Potts was carrying out Zhang Yuan's orders, Peter Parker also called Zhang Yuan and told Zhang Yuan that the networking transmitter had been completed. After getting Peter Parker's call, Zhang Yuan had breakfast and drove to Peter Parker's school. Peter Parker is still studying, so he is naturally in school most of the time during the day. Although Zhang Yuan has never been to Peter Parker's school, he asked Jarvis to connect to the map and provide him with positioning and navigation, so he easily arrived at the location of Peter Parker's school. After arriving here, Zhang Yuan called Peter Parker. After a while, Peter Parker was seen walking towards the school gate. When Peter Parker walked over, there was a person following him. It was a handsome young man, about the same age as Peter Parker. Harry Osborn. Zhang Yuan recognized the person who came out with Peter Parker after just a quick glance. At the same time, he was very suspicious and didn't understand why Harry Osborn followed Peter Parker out. Zhang Yuan. While Zhang Yuan was suspicious, Peter Parker quickly came to where Zhang Yuan was. After arriving here, he greeted Zhang Yuan and handed Zhang Yuan a tightly packed paper box wrapped with a lot of black tape. I said you really came out to deliver things to others. Just when Zhang Yuan handed the paper box to Zhang Yuan, Harry Osborn beside him spoke strangely. It was just a gift. Peter Parker glared at Harry Osborn, then introduced him to Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan, this is my friend, Harry Osborn. Yes, I know him. You know me? Harry Osborn blinked, then looked Zhang Yuan up and down, then shook his head. He didn't remember where he had seen Zhang Yuan before, and he didn't know who Zhang Yuan was. How could I not know the prince of the Osborn group? Zhang Yuan said. Who are you? Harry Osborn was puzzled. Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan said, then waved to Peter Parker with the box in his hand. Well, Peter, I'll leave if it's okay. By the way, if you figure it out one day, you can call me. After saying this, Zhang Yuan didn't stop, turned around and walked into the car, then drove away from the school gate. Peter, who is that guy? And you figured it out, what do you mean? Why can't I understand what you are talking about? When did you become so mysterious? After Zhang Yuan left, Harry Osborn asked Peter Parker in astonishment. It's nothing, Zhang Yuan wanted to hire me, and I rejected him. Peter Parker said. Hire you? Con, that guy is trying to steal my people, you must not agree to him. My dad asked me to invite you to my house this morning, and my dad said he wants to hire you to work for Osborn Group. Harry Osborn curled his lips speechlessly, and then said solemnly to Peter Parker. Yeah, I understand. Peter Parker nodded. After Zhang Yuan left Peter Parker's school, he drove to a place that was not so densely populated. The car stopped under a building. After stopping here, Zhang Yuan turned off the car and opened the cardboard box wrapped with black tape. When he opened it, he saw 6 web launchers inside. In addition to the web launchers, there was also a piece of paper with Peter Parker's instructions on how to operate the web launchers. Seeing this, Zhang Yuan first looked at the instructions, then took out 2 spider web launchers from the cardboard box, buckled them on his left and right hands respectively, and then got out of the car and locked the door. Chapter 67. After locking the car door, Zhang Yuan then looked up at the building in front of him. The purpose of coming here was simple. Zhang Yuan just wanted to try out the effectiveness of the spider web launcher. After taking a look at the building, Zhang Yuan then stretched out his right hand towards the building. At the same time, his middle finger and ring finger suddenly touched the switch of the spider web launcher in his palm. Suddenly, spider silk shot out and bounced up to the building. It stuck to the building all of a sudden. Just when the spider silk stuck to the building, Zhang Yuan pulled the spider silk hard, and his body shot out forward and hit the building at a very fast speed. When hitting it, Zhang Yuan kicked out with his left foot and immediately kicked on the wall. While climbing on the wall, his left hand also stretched out, and the spider silk also shot out. Then he quickly pulled it and took his body up to the sky. Zhang Yuan climbed up the tall building in just 2 or 3 steps. His speed was much faster than climbing alone. After reaching the roof, Zhang Yuan stood on the edge of the tall building, looked at the building opposite, then took out a pair of frog glasses from his pocket, took a deep breath, stretched out his right hand, bent his ring finger and middle finger again, and activated the switch of the spider web launcher in his palm again, and then saw the spider silk sprayed out again, instantly ricocheting towards the building opposite at a very fast speed, and stuck to the building opposite in an instant. When the spider silk stuck, Zhang Yuan pulled it slightly, and after confirming that it was indeed firmly stuck, he pulled the spider silk hard and jumped out at the same time. Fuck! Even though Zhang Yuan had used exoskeleton armor, this kind of behavior still made him feel very excited when he was in such a situation without any protection, and he was so cold that his hair stood up. People with a weak heart can't afford to do this kind of behavior. In addition, people with insufficient strength, slow reaction, and agility can't afford to do it. The control switch of the spider web launcher in Zhang Yuan's palm is very heavy. If you don't have enough strength, you can't activate the switch. After crashing into the opposite building, when he was about to hit the building, Zhang Yuan suddenly reached out his left hand to a building on the left to activate the spider web launcher, and then pulled hard, pulling his body from the trend of hitting this building to another direction like a swing. Then, Zhang Yuan kept launching spider silk and ran forward quickly. At first, no one noticed Zhang Yuan, but after Zhang Yuan used the building to launch a certain distance, someone suddenly noticed him, and the pupils of those who noticed him shrank suddenly. Oh my god, look, what is that? My god, that guy is swinging on the swing. Swinging on a skyscraper, who is this person? People who saw this situation cried out in surprise, and then immediately told others around them, and then others noticed this situation. After some people noticed it, they immediately took out their phones to take pictures. But often when they were about to take pictures, they saw Zhang Yuan turn around and rush to another place at a very fast speed. Although they succeeded in taking pictures, they were unable to take pictures of Zhang Yuan's face. Careful! Stop, there's a child! When Zhang Yuan rushed to a section of the road, he suddenly heard someone screaming not far away. Following the scream, he saw a little girl suddenly crossing the road at a traffic light intersection. At the same time, a tanker truck was speeding forward. The little girl's behavior of crossing the road was quite abrupt, which startled the tanker driver, and he hurriedly stepped on the brakes, but even so, the tanker truck continued to hit the little girl by inertia. This situation scared the tanker driver so much that his soul flew away. At the same time, many people around him couldn't help but close their eyes, unable to bear it. At this moment, Zhang Yuan noticed the situation and suddenly shot towards the little girl. As he shot, he stretched out his right hand to trigger the switch of the spider web launcher. The spider web shot onto the girl's body. Then Zhang Yuan exerted force with his right hand and pulled the girl up in a flash. At the same time, he cut off the original spider web with his left hand and shot towards another building nearby. With a quick pull, he and the girl escaped from danger in the first place and landed on the side of a street across the road. "Brother, are you a god?" When Zhang Yuan and the girl landed at the edge of the alley, the little blonde in his arms said to Zhang Yuan in a cute way. "Brother is not a god, so be careful when crossing the road next time." Zhang Yuan rubbed the girl's hair lovingly, then stretched out his left hand towards the building next to him, and the spider silk shot out, driving his body to fly up and quickly leaving the spot. Because he had already found someone approaching nearby, and someone was taking pictures of this side with a mobile phone. Fortunately, he had just put on a pair of frog glasses on his face. Although it didn't completely cover his face, it also covered a lot. His face might not be clearly seen from a long distance. After saving the little girl, Zhang Yuan stopped swinging in the city, and found a rooftop of a skyscraper to stop, and then he entered the skyscraper and left easily. After a while, Zhang Yuan returned to his car. When he returned here, the frog glasses on his face had been taken off. He returned here, got in the car without stopping, and drove home. For Zhang Yuan, saving the little girl was a trivial matter, but for some news media, it was exciting news for them. Many newspapers reported such things as soon as possible. At the same time, some photos taken by some people were also published. Fortunately, these photos did not take close-up photos of Zhang Yuan's front, but some distant views or profiles. Chapter 68. But even so, it was still a sensation. In broad daylight, a skyscraper was used as a swing, and a little blonde girl was saved in a split second. No matter how you look at it, it was quite cool. With such a sensation, it naturally attracted a lot of attention. "Hey, that guy is a mutant. What's ejected seems to be spider silk. Is it high technology? Or mutants?" Regardless of whether it's high-tech or mutants, this person acts very high profile. Some organizations couldn't help but think about it. Unlike ordinary people, they only cared about the power displayed by this person. Half an hour later, Tony Stark, who was debugging his exoskeleton armor in the laboratory and letting Jarvis play some news, suddenly stared blankly at a news picture displayed on the projection screen. His eyes were directly locked on Zhang Yuan in the news picture. "Why does this guy look so familiar?" Tony Stark narrowed his eyes and ordered Jarvis, "Enlarge the picture." "Yes, sir." Then the picture was enlarged, and as it enlarged, Tony Stark was speechless. "It is Zhang Yuan. What do you mean by low-key? Can this be considered low-key? Although he has a pair of toad eyes, people who are not familiar with him cannot recognize him, but people who are familiar with him can still recognize him to a certain extent after looking at the picture carefully. Yes, the device he used to swing on the skyscraper should be the so-called spider web launcher. I didn't expect that Zhang Yuan didn't ask me to make it for him, but I still made it." I thought this kind of thing was just a small gadget, but now it seems to be quite exciting and cool. It seems that I have to ask Zhang Yuan to get some raw materials or something. It's Zhang Yuan. In the university where Peter Parker was, Peter Parker suddenly opened his eyes wide and looked at the push news, and then his eyes fell on the picture of Zhang Yuan. When he saw it was Zhang Yuan, his eyes suddenly became complicated. He really didn't expect that Zhang Yuan would use a spider web launcher to save people in broad daylight. But he changed his mind and thought that apart from Zhang Yuan's strong murderous intention, it was not surprising that he could fight crime in the 6th Street District and do some good things. In the sky, in an invisible flying aircraft carrier, Nick Fury, the director of SHIELD, is here. Have you found out everything? Nick Fury, who was wearing a leather jacket, sat on a chair and asked an intelligence officer in front of him who was wearing a black uniform. The man was a man with a square face, about 30 years old, with a crew cut. Yes, Director, the matter has been investigated clearly. Based on large-scale image comparison and various intelligence evidence, it was finally confirmed that the person who used the city as a mechanical forest to swing was Tony Stark's brother, Zhang Yuan Stark. The black-clad intelligence officer answered. Zhang Yuan Stark? It's actually him. Haha, this little guy has been doing a lot of things recently. First, he killed a lot of gangsters in the abandoned factory, and then he followed Tony Stark to Afghanistan and killed a lot of terrorists. Not long ago, he even plotted against Obadiah Stane. Now he is swinging on the swing in the city. What is he going to do? Nick Fury narrowed his eyes and thought quickly. While thinking, his right hand rhythmically tapped the table in front of him. Just by listening to Nick Fury's words, you can clearly know that Nick Fury has a good understanding of Zhang Yuan and knows most of the things Zhang Yuan has been doing recently. Although not all of them, the 3 things Nick Fury mentioned can already be considered secrets. Let Black Widow contact Zhang Yuan. Since this little guy likes to mess around so much, let's see if he is interested in working for our Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. After thinking for a while, Nick Fury suddenly gave the order. Yes. The black-clad intelligence officer responded immediately. Although he felt that the possibility of recruiting Zhang Yuan was very low, after all, Zhang Yuan was a shareholder of the Stark Group, and currently the 2nd largest shareholder. He was rich and powerful. It was naturally difficult for such a person to be an agent. However, although he thought it was impossible, since it was the director's order, the black-clad intelligence officer naturally did not dare to neglect anything. After responding, he quickly left the place. After the black-clad intelligence officer left, Nick Fury looked at the picture on his desk of Zhang Yuan swinging on the swing in the city that was captured by someone and wanted to take a picture of him. He narrowed his eyes and didn't know what he was thinking. Zhang Yuan was in an open space in the manor. In front of him were 3 glass bottles, each containing a turtle, a flea, and a lizard. As for the hippopotamus that Zhang Yuan wanted, according to Pepper Potts, it was still in the process of transportation and needed to wait for some time. Zhang Yuan was not in a hurry. After looking at the 3 glass bottles in front of him, he turned his sight to the glass bottle containing the fleas. When he looked over, he pulled out the cork. Almost when he pulled out the cork, he saw the flea suddenly jump out of the bottle, but almost at the same time it jumped out. Before it could run away or jump onto Zhang Yuan's body, Zhang Yuan's hand burst out an arc of electricity, instantly hitting the flea and electrocuting it to death on the spot. There are 2 optional prerequisites for extracting the genes of other organisms. One is to kill the organism you want to extract, and the other is to catch the organism you want to extract. After killing the flea in this way, the flea's gene template was immediately recorded by 9527. After killing the fleas, Zhang Yuan did not stop and opened the bottle containing the lizard, and then killed the lizard at once, and then the only thing left was the turtle. Seeing the turtle, Zhang Yuan ignored it for the time being, and then said to Jaworki, extract the flea genes for me. Chapter 69. Spend 1000 bioenergy to randomly extract flea genes. Flea genes are being randomly extracted. Successfully extracted the blood-sucking gene of fleas, do you want to merge it? A series of mechanical prompts sounded, and Zhang Yuan was instantly confused under such prompts. Although he actually knew that he had already extracted the abilities of other creatures, sooner or later he would extract a very bad gene, but looking at the genes he had mentioned so far, it was only the underwater survival gene, which seemed a bit sad. The others were quite practical. But, now this blood-sucking gene, what the hell is this? Explain to me what this blood-sucking gene does. Zhang Yuan was stunned for a moment, then frowned and asked Zhuorqi. The blood-sucking gene allows the host to absorb the blood of other creatures to replenish physical strength and greatly counteract hunger. Even if it only absorbs a little blood from other creatures, it can keep the host alive even if it does not eat or drink for 100 days. 9527 explained to Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan's mouth opened wide instantly, and he didn't know how to describe his shock. He really didn't expect that the blood-sucking gene of the flea would have such an anti-starvation effect. But it seemed that he couldn't really use such a gene. He wouldn't be hungry for that long. In addition, absorbing the blood of other creatures was a bit uncomfortable no matter how he looked at it. Let's merge. Although he felt that this ability was the most useless, even more useless than the underwater survival ability last time, Zhang Yuan still chose to merge it based on the principle of not wasting. So the strange energy merged into Zhang Yuan's body, and then Zhang Yuan found that his body genes had been transformed again. During this transformation process, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but have a bloodthirsty desire. He actually wanted to taste the taste of blood. I go. Seeing this, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but look a little dark. If he had known that there would be a side effect of bloodthirstiness, he would not have merged. Now it seems too late to regret. 9527, can you kick out the fusion gene? With a dark face, Zhang Yuan immediately asked 9527. Each time a gene is removed, it will cost 1000 bioenergy. Are you sure you want to remove it? This. Never mind, let's leave it like this for now. Zhang Yuan's eyes flickered, and he chose not to remove them for the time being, and then said to Zhuorqi again, continue to randomly extract flea genes. Spend another 1000 bioenergy to perform random extraction on fleas. Flea genes are being randomly extracted. Successfully extracted the flea bounce gene, do you want to fuse it? Then there was another mechanical voice prompt, and then 9527 successfully extracted the gene that Zhang Yuan wanted. Immediately fuse the bouncing gene. Zhang Yuan ordered without hesitation. Boom! The strange power once again merged into Zhang Yuan's body. When this strange power merged into Zhang Yuan's body, Zhang Yuan suddenly found that his body was strengthened again under the integration of this power, especially his legs. The strength of his legs was suddenly strengthened many times on the original basis. It was like a shotgun for a cannon. It made his legs full of explosive power. At this moment, Zhang Yuan had a very strong feeling that the strength of his legs was more than 10 times stronger than before. When he kicked out with one leg, the power he could exert was much stronger than other parts of his body. Even alloy steel plates could be bent at once. More importantly, he also clearly felt that his high jump and long jump had been amazingly enhanced. With this feeling, Zhang Yuan didn't bother to continue extracting genes, and suddenly jumped forward on the spot. Swish! With this jump, Zhang Yuan suddenly found his body soaring into the sky, flying into the air like a cannonball. This is going against the will of heaven. Zhang Yuan was shocked by the bounce. When he landed, he was already 600 meters away from the original place. This was just a random jump. He didn't use his full strength. If he used his full strength, the distance would be terrifying. After being slightly shocked, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but prepare to extract the flea gene again. Originally, he was only going to extract the jumping gene, but now it seems that another ability of fleas cannot be missed. In Zhang Yuan's opinion, fleas are small, wingless, the wings have degenerated due to long-term parasitism on the host, good at jumping parasitic insects, both males and females suck blood, unlike mosquitoes where only females suck blood. Adults usually live on mammals, and a few on birds. Antennae are short and thick. Mouth parts are sharp and used for sucking. The abdomen is wide and has 9 segments. The hind legs are well developed and strong. Complete metamorphosis insects. The pupa is wrapped in a cocoon. The shell of the flea has the most ability to protect life and can withstand a weight 90 times heavier than its body weight. There is a saying that if the human body had a shell like the flea's body instead of the current flesh and skin, then even if a person fell from a height of 1,000 meters onto a hard ground, he would be safe and sound, and could withstand the weight of 1,000 kilograms of weight, falling from a height of 1,000 meters. It also has 2 strong hind legs, so it is good at jumping, and can jump 7 or 8 inches high. Fleas can jump a distance 350 times their body length, which is equivalent to a person jumping over a football field. In other words, fleas have roughly 3 genes: blood-sucking genes, jumping genes, and protective genes. It can make people fall from a height of 1,000 meters and fall safely, and withstand the weight of 1,000 kilograms of weight, falling from a height of 1,000 meters. If such anti-strike power is not strong, it is naturally impossible. Such anti-strike power can definitely be considered quite tough. Of course, this kind of protective power is not absolute, it depends on the situation. But fleas are very tenacious. Before Zhang Yuan traveled through time, he had caught fleas for his cats and dogs, and he knew very well that the fleas' claws were not so effective in killing them all of a sudden, and that he had to use the right strength. Chapter 70. 9527, Continue to extract flea genes for me. As he was attracted by another ability of fleas, Zhang Yuan immediately gave 9527 another order. Spend another 1,000 biological energies to randomly extract flea genes. Flea genes are being randomly extracted. Successfully extracted flea resistance genes, shall we fuse them? Under Zhang Yuan's command, 9527 faithfully carried out the random extraction of flea genes again, and then drew the genes that Zhang Yuan wanted. Although 9527's extraction of genes from other organisms was random, 9527 existed to serve Zhang Yuan, so its extraction was mainly to extract some important abilities of other organisms, which could be used by Zhang Yuan, and it would not be repeated. In this case, as long as you are willing to spend biological energy, the genes extracted in many cases will definitely not disappoint you. Fuse it for me. Zhang Yuan gave the order again, and this time he was a little impatient. He really wanted to know how strong his body would become after the flea's anti-strike gene was integrated into his own. So the strange power once again merged into Zhang Yuan's body, and Zhang Yuan's muscles became stronger and tougher under the cover of this power. If you touch the muscles on his body casually, they are all hard. After the fusion was successful, Zhang Yuan punched himself in the abdomen, using his own fist strength to try how strong his anti-strike power was. This was not the first time that Zhang Yuan tested his strength in this way. He had done this long before he extracted the flea's anti-strike ability this time. Bang! A roar sounded. Zhang Yuan's punch was very powerful. If it were an ordinary person, this punch would hit the opponent's abdomen and make the opponent fly backwards, blood spurting all over the ground, and many ribs would be broken. But after Zhang Yuan was hit by this punch, he only felt a little uncomfortable. My resistance to attacks has indeed been improved a lot. Although I still cannot resist bullets, especially armor-piercing ones, I will extract the defense genes of turtles and hippos next time, and my defense will definitely be able to be improved many times. By then, it will not be difficult to resist bullets. Moreover, if I can improve more creatures like this, sooner or later, grenades, artillery shells and other attacks will be nothing but a chore for me, not to mention bullets. Just like the green fat man, the green fat man's regular bomb attacks are nothing to him. While estimating his current resistance to attacks, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but look forward to his future. However, it is not enough. It is still far from enough. I have offended many people now. Although I think Hydra will not attack me crazily for Obadiah Stan's death, there will definitely be someone who will attack me. In addition, there is the mutant who was killed. Although the mutant is not very strong, he is definitely not a core figure in the Brotherhood. At most, he can only be a peripheral member, otherwise he would not be mixed with ordinary car thieves. But even so, the Brotherhood will definitely investigate. It has not been found out that I did it, but it does not mean that the investigation has been good. After all, mutants have strange abilities, and some can even go back in time to replay the scenes that have happened. In addition, some people are not good at fighting, but they are proficient in the ultimate ability. Moreover, some people can even communicate with souls. In short, my strength is still far inferior to that of the Brotherhood and Hydra. In addition to the threats from mutants and Hydra, there are more threats from those guys who can destroy the world. Whether it is on Earth or outside the Earth, there are some people who can directly destroy the planet. If I face such a person now, even if I have the ability to regenerate, I will die miserably. Therefore, after the defense is completed, we still have to continue to develop some regeneration capabilities. The template of the lizard gene has been mastered, so it will naturally be extracted. But in addition to attraction, there are actually some creatures, such as cockroaches. Although cockroaches cannot regenerate, they have super vitality, and there are also the famous water bears. That is the so-called unkillable water bear, which can survive in various cruel environments. Although it cannot be said that it can survive 100%, it is much stronger than most creatures on Earth. Thinking of this, Zhang Yuan put away the complacency that rose because of his successive gene upgrades, and then prepared to continue extracting genes. This time, he planned to extract the genes of the lizard first. Master Zhang Yuan, someone is visiting. Before Zhang Yuan could continue to extract, Jarvis's mechanical voice suddenly rang out. What's going on? Who is it? Didn't you say you don't want to see any guests? Zhang Yuan frowned and asked Jarvis in a deep voice. They said they were members of a national organization. Jarvis said. So that's how it is. Let them in. Zhang Yuan said. Although Jarvis is far from being an artificial intelligence at the level of Ultron, he is also full of intelligence and can handle some things for Zhang Yuan. After authorizing Jarvis, Zhang Yuan picked up the glass bottle containing the turtle on the ground and walked forward. As for the glass bottles containing fleas and lizard corpses, Zhang Yuan waited for them to stay where they were, looking as if he was not going to pay attention. After leaving the place, Zhang Yuan walked towards the main entrance of the manor. While he was walking, two people from the main entrance of the manor also got Jarvis's authorization and walked in. They were a man and a woman. The woman's body was the woman was wearing a leather jacket and leather pants, and had a very hot body. As for the man, he was wearing a windbreaker and leather boots, and his face looked quite cold. The two walked side by side, looking at the manor as they walked. In less than a moment, they arrived at the entrance of the manor's hall, and then saw Zhang Yuan teasing the turtle in the hall. Chapter 71. Just when they saw Zhang Yuan also sensed someone approaching, and then looked at the two people. When he looked over, his brows slightly frowned. Although the two people did not reveal their names, the woman in leather clothes made Zhang Yuan know who the other party was at once. Natasha Romanoff. In the Marvel world, the famous Black Widow. More than half of the Marvel heroes have been slept with by her. She is definitely a super fighter in the world of hookups, and has captured more prey than many men. Therefore, although this woman has a sexy figure, Zhang Yuan did not feel surprised when he saw her. He is still a virgin in this life. Sluts and the like, that is not interested. When the Black Widow saw Zhang Yuan's eyes on her, she did not show a surprised look, but frowned suddenly, with a look of disgust, and her eyes narrowed subconsciously. She had tried so many men, cold, arrogant, warm and difficult, and even some big and ugly ones. But, among the heroes she had seen, even the coldest ones would have a certain surprise expression when they saw her. It was also because of this that she was always successful in her work as an agent and spy. No one could ignore her charm. But the man in front of her was disgusted and frowned, which was a bit unbelievable. "You seem to hate me." With curiosity in her heart, the Black Widow smiled and Zhang Yuan said, "I don't hate you, I just don't want to have any contact with you." Zhang Yuan said calmly. "Why? If I remember correctly, we haven't met before, right?" Black Widow said. "There are not so many whys." Zhang Yuan said. "All right. Let me introduce myself. My name is Natasha Romanoff and this is Richard Alter." The Black Widow smiled and then introduced herself to the cold-blooded man next to her. "What do you want to talk to me about?" Zhang Yuan did not introduce himself, but asked indifferently. "We are from the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. Our organization is a special force of the International Security Council that is used to deal with various bizarre incidents." Black Widow said. "Then what?" Zhang Yuan said. "According to our investigation, you have awakened a strange ability, and many people have died in your hands. With your power, if you don't control it, it will easily cause unrest in society. Therefore, we are here to ask you to join the National Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau." The Black Widow said. "I'm sorry, but I have no interest in joining your organization, so you can leave." Although Zhang Yuan had a similar guess after the two showed up, he refused without hesitation when he got such confirmation. Although SHIELD is a privileged organization of the United States, and later formed the Avengers to fight against alien invasions or those who want to destroy the Earth, the organization is still controlled by the top leaders. If there is a slight problem, they will be impeached or even sentenced. And they have to follow orders. Zhang Yuan is not bored, and he doesn't want to be a good rich boy, but listen to other people's orders and act according to other people's eyes. Even if this organization can get national support, once it enters various targeted there will be a lot of sexual training. But so what? He is currently the second largest shareholder of Stark Group, and he also controls 1% of the shares of Osborne Group. The thing he has the most is money. As long as he has money, he can get any training equipment and weapons. Why would he need the resources of SHIELD? As for someone destroying the Earth, as a part of the Earth, if you don't want to die, you have to help. Zhang Yuan said that there are too many powerful people in this world, and there are tall people to hold up the sky when it falls. And even if he wants to take action, he can organize others to take action. There is no need to put a tight ring on his head. He hired Peter Parker not long ago, and he was even more interested in Dr. Lizard and the like. He is interested in it and actually wants to form his own team. After all, Tony Stark has not joined SHIELD yet. And Tony Stark is his brother. As long as he opens his mouth, he can guarantee that Tony Stark will definitely stand on his side. In addition, he told the Green Goblin about the disadvantages of the gene potion not long ago. In addition to wanting to trade with Norman Osborn, he is also planning to plan the Osborn Group's gene potion to a certain extent. He has no need for such things, but it does not mean that they cannot be used by others. Although as far as the current situation is concerned, Peter Parker does not accept his employment, Tony Stark is still picking up girls in a high-profile manner, and the Osborn Group's gene potion is even more. It has not been successfully developed yet. But Zhang Yuan, who is familiar with the plot, knows very well that the reason why Peter Parker hates him for killing people now is entirely because Peter Parker is still very naive, has not seen the dark side, and has not yet realized that he has superpowers. When his uncle is shot, Zhang Yuan believes that Peter Parker will definitely wake up. As for Tony Stark, isn't this a matter of a word? As for the genetic drug, Zhang Yuan also believes that it will be successfully developed sooner or later. Although it will be troublesome to obtain it after it is successfully developed, with his current status as one of the shareholders of the Osborne Group and the hidden dangers of the Osborne Group itself, the probability of further cooperation with Norman Osborne is very high. Are you sure you want to refuse? The man in black next to Black Widow suddenly said. What? Aren't you guys prepared to be rejected by others? Zhang Yuan sneered. It's not impossible, but you have to have the ability to refuse. The man in black suddenly said, with a certain threat in his words. Hat, get out of here, you are not welcome here. Zhang Yuan glanced at the man in black, and then spoke in a cold voice. He had never heard of the man in black, and he looked like a passerby in the Marvel world. Such a passerby actually threatened him. If he was not a member of SHIELD, he would have killed him right now. Chapter 72. You can go away, but first let me see if you have the ability to do it. The man in black narrowed his eyes and rushed towards Zhang Yuan. When he rushed, he jumped up and punched Zhang Yuan's head with his right fist like thunder. This punch was so powerful that a sonic boom was heard. It was obviously beyond the punching power of an ordinary person. This man must have been strengthened. Hey! Zhang Yuan was subconsciously surprised when he saw this. Although he knew that S.H.I.E.L.D. was full of experts and had many powerful agents, it was surprising that a passerby who he had never heard of before could burst out with such power. Get lost! Although Zhang Yuan was surprised, he did not forget to attack. Instead, he shouted coldly, "Sat still," and punched the man in black. Bang! A loud roar sounded, and then the black-clothed man flew backwards like a cannonball, flying 7 or 8 meters and falling heavily to the ground. Puff! As soon as he fell to the ground, the man in black spurted out blood. The strong impact of falling to the ground caused serious damage to his internal organs. While spurting blood, his fist that had clashed with Zhang Yuan was bloody and his bones were obviously broken. It was so miserable. Art. Seeing the man in black like this, the Black Widow frowned, walked quickly to the man in black, and then checked his injuries. With just this little power, I really don't know where you got the confidence to threaten me. Zhang Yuan suddenly stood up from the ground and approached Black Widow and others. Zhang Yuan, you've gone too far. The Black Widow suddenly raised her head and said to Zhang Yuan in a deep voice. Humph! Zhang Yuan snorted coldly, without making any comment. Zhang Yuan, although you do have some strength now, there have always been many masters in this world, and your strength is not worth mentioning compared to many masters. Especially with the exposure of Tony Stark's exoskeleton armor, I don't know how many people are paying attention to you and Tony Stark. With your ability, it is impossible to resist the attacks of those organizations. We let you join the organization for your own good. If your father had not been a member of our organization, he would never have come to you to join the organization. Moreover, as a citizen, joining a national organization and serving the country is also a citizen's obligation. The Black Widow said to Zhang Yuan in a deep voice. When she said this, she looked at Zhang Yuan with an obviously unfriendly look in her eyes. Although Zhang Yuan was able to hide his lustful expression after seeing her just now, which was better than many people's performance, in the heart of the Black Widow, Zhang Yuan was just a little kid. This is true for both Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark. If one of them had not created an exoskeleton armor and the other had not awakened some power for some reason, the two would not have been taken seriously by the Black Widow, and they would not have had any intersection. Because Tony Stark and Zhang Yuan are both well-known playboys and super losers. After Zhang Yuan gained power, he killed people in various ways. Now he attacked people from their organization without a word. No matter how you look at it, he is a little too self-inflated. So what? If you have nothing to do, take this loser away from me. I don't want to see you again. Zhang Yuan said. You are so arrogant. Originally, asking you to join the organization was just a routine matter. But Zhang Yuan, I think it is necessary to teach you a profound lesson now, so that you can understand how to behave. Otherwise, with your character, you will get into big trouble sooner or later." The Black Widow narrowed her eyes, and then suddenly stood up from the ground. After standing up, she took 2 steps forward and then stopped. As soon as she stopped, she saw the Black Widow twist her neck left and right, making a popping sound, and then opened her left hand and slightly grabbed the air a few times to exercise her fingers. Ah! Black Widow's behavior made Zhang Yuan sneer. Although Black Widow is also a superhero, to be honest, Black Widow's power is often exaggerated in the Marvel world. Although Black Widow is proficient in various martial arts and is also good at using various weapons, her physical fitness is better than that of ordinary people, but it is still far worse than most superheroes or villains with super-enhanced bodies. As long as Black Widow does not use the Widow's Sting, Zhang Yuan can guarantee to beat Black Widow to death in close combat. Even if she uses the Widow's Sting, Zhang Yuan will not be afraid of him. Isn't it just a 30,000 volt electric current attack? He can also attack with high voltage pulses, and the voltage burst out is no less than 30,000 volts. Come if you have the guts. After sneering, Zhang Yuan hooked his finger at Black Widow. Interesting, the Black Widow narrowed her eyes, and then she moved suddenly, rushing towards Zhang Yuan's position. When she rushed out, the speed she showed was far beyond that of an ordinary person. In the blink of an eye, she arrived next to Zhang Yuan, and then punched Zhang Yuan in the abdomen. Swish! Although Zhang Yuan was not as good as the Black Widow old woman in terms of martial arts moves and combat experience, he understood one thing, that is, there is no martial arts in the world that is invincible except speed. Relying on amazing reaction and super speed, Zhang Yuan dodged the attack of the Black Widow at the moment of her attack and appeared on the left-hand side of the Black Widow. At the same time of dodging the attack, Zhang Yuan spun his body and kicked the Black Widow with his right foot. The powerful whip kick, with an extremely piercing sound of breaking through the air, hit heavily. The Black Widow sensed such an attack. In that split second, she spun her body and blocked Zhang Yuan's attack with her left hand. Snap! Bang! The sound of broken bones was heard, followed by a loud bang. Black Widow's body uncontrollably retreated 7 or 8 steps. When she finally stopped, the look in her eyes when she looked at Zhang Yuan suddenly became extremely solemn and serious. Chapter 73. Although Black Widow's body is not as good as those superheroes who have specially strengthened their bodies, it is still strengthened to a certain extent, and her physique is several times stronger than that of ordinary people. In addition, she is a fighting master and has rich combat experience. Her combat power is also quite powerful for most people. Otherwise, she would not have become one of the representatives of SHIELD. But, it is such a situation. She broke her arm just by being kicked by Zhang Yuan in an instant. How could she not be shocked? She had studied all the information about Zhang Yuan before she came. In the recent murders of Zhang Yuan, although he showed some strength, it was not to the point where she could take it seriously. Zhang Yuan should not be that powerful. Kill! Zhang Yuan didn't care how shocked Black Widow was. Since he had already made a move, he was going to scare Black Widow this time and make her dare not continue to fight with him. Otherwise, S.H.I.E.L.D. would send some small characters to harass him at every turn, which would be so annoying. He wanted to use Black Widow as a warning to others. With a slam of his right foot on the ground, Zhang Yuan shot out again, his body soaring into the air, and his right hand formed a tomahawk-like chop towards Black Widow. The powerful force he chopped out was even more terrifying than before, making Black Widow dare not resist at all. She quickly moved to the side and narrowly avoided Zhang Yuan's attack. As soon as she dodged, Zhang Yuan's body suddenly spun, and with the force of a long tail, he quickly whipped the Black Widow again. Zhang Yuan's attack speed was so fast that the Black Widow had no time to dodge. She could only grit her teeth and press her right hand towards Zhang Yuan's leg, using a force-releasing technique to try to dissolve Zhang Yuan's attack. Although the force from Zhang Yuan's kick was not full strength, it was still 30% of his strength. With the 30% strength that Zhang Yuan now possessed, the power generated was also quite terrifying. It instantly disintegrated the Black Widow's resistance, and then whipped the Black Widow's body, whipping the Black Widow away. Puff! After the Black Widow was whipped out this time, she felt a sweet taste in her throat and spurted out a mouthful of blood that she could not suppress. Her face suddenly turned pale. She was whipped out of the room to the outside of the hall by Zhang Yuan's whip kick, and fell heavily to the ground. Almost at the moment when she was blown to the ground, Zhang Yuan moved quickly and appeared next to the man in black, and slashed at the man in black with a knife. Although the man in black tried to support his severely injured body and rolled to the side to avoid the attack, Zhang Yuan's attack came to his neck before he could dodge, knocking him unconscious. After knocking the man in black unconscious, Zhang Yuan jumped with the man in black and appeared next to the Black Widow, and then threw the man in black heavily next to the Black Widow with a bang. "If you don't want to die, take him and get out of here," Zhang Yuan said coldly. The Black Widow's face darkened, and she stared at Zhang Yuan intently. She touched the widow's sting on her body with her right hand, then released her right hand and supported her severely injured body. She picked up the man in black and walked out of the manor with a clang. After walking a few meters, the Black Widow stopped, then turned around and looked at Zhang Yuan coldly and said, "Zhang Yuan, I admit that I underestimated you, but I was careless this time. The next time I meet you, you will definitely be the loser. Get lost." Zhang Yuan's cold snort was not the answer to Black Widow's defense. Black Widow's pupil shrank, and then she reluctantly led the man in black and continued to move forward outside the manor. Black Widow was really unwilling to accept this confrontation. She really didn't expect Zhang Yuan's speed and strength to be so amazing. Under normal circumstances, people with fast speed will definitely not be very strong. Strength and speed rarely go hand in hand. Black Widow had seen some people with great strength or fast speed before, but most of those people only had a single strength. For people with fast speed, as long as the house he lives in is full of people, he will be able to move forward. Even if attacked, relying on the resistance to blows, limiting the opponent's attack, then you can win. It is even easier to deal with a strong opponent. As long as you rely on speed and play with the opponent, and don't fight hard, then victory is a matter of time. But Zhang Yuan in front of him, not only is his speed amazingly fast, but his strength is also terrifyingly strong. The power of Zhang Yuan's kick alone is dozens of times greater than that of an ordinary person. If it weren't for her physical strength far exceeding that of an ordinary person, her strong repair ability, and her good resistance to blows, plus the fact that when she just attacked, although she couldn't completely remove Zhang Yuan's strength, or unloaded some of it, then her fate under Zhang Yuan's leg attack would definitely be many times more miserable than it is now. In addition, this time she took Zhang Yuan's identity into consideration and did not use the widow's sting. If she had used the widow's sting as soon as she went up, she believed that she would not have lost so miserably. This was a crime not committed in battle, she was too careless, so she was very dissatisfied. However, although she was dissatisfied, her left hand was broken, and her right hand was also injured in the process of unloading the force. She was in great pain, and her bones were also comminuted in many places. If she continued to fight under such circumstances, the only one who would suffer would be herself, and she knew very well that saving the Green Mountains would be the best way. It is a truth that there is no shortage of firewood. If you lose this time, you lose, and you can get back at them next time. Unfortunately, Black Widow didn't know that Zhang Yuan had suppressed a lot of his strength in order not to kill her with one kick. Otherwise, with just one kick, Zhang Yuan would have made Black Widow die in a very haggard state. His body has been strengthened by the ant's strong gene, the electric muscle of the electric eel, and the cheetah's strong speed gene. In addition, the fleas have greatly improved his leg strength this time. You can imagine how powerful his kick is. Zhang Yuan can make alloy armor miserable, let alone humans. Chapter 74. Black Widow endured the pain in her body and finally walked to the gate of the manor with the man in black on her shoulder. As soon as she reached the gate of the manor, she fell to the ground with the man in black on her shoulder, spitting out blood. Her condition was very bad now. Zhang Yuan's kick was so powerful that it was not easy for her to walk out of the manor. It was also because of her amazing recovery ability and the extremely powerful healing equipment of shield that she would definitely be left with permanent injuries this time, or even directly disabled or dead. Director. After falling to the ground, Black Widow endured the headache and tried not to faint. Then she connected the communicator and called Nick Fury. Is the mission accomplished? Nick Fury asked subconsciously after answering the call. I failed to complete the mission. Not only did I fail to complete it, but I am now seriously injured and have multiple comminuted fractures. I need help. Black Widow replied bitterly. What? Wait a minute, I'll send someone to pick you up right away. Nick Fury was shocked, and he could no longer maintain that cold and calm expression on his face. He quickly said something to Black Widow, then hung up the communication and asked someone to pick up Black Widow. He didn't need to know the specific location of Black Widow, because Black Widow had a positioning device on her body. With Black Widow's call for help, the people who went to pick her up could find Black Widow as soon as possible according to the positioning system. Then a fighter plane flew out of the flying aircraft carrier. In the cockpit of the fighter plane sat a middle-aged man wearing black tights, with a handsome face and a bag of bow and arrows on his back. Hawkeye. Clinton Francis Barton. One of the more famous heroes in the Marvel world. Good at long-range attacks and superb archery. At this time Hawkeye's face was cold and his expression was quite stern, with obvious anger and murderous intent in his eyes. As everyone knows, Hawkeye has always liked Black Widow very much. The main reason why he chose to join SHIELD was because of Black Widow. Now that he knew that Black Widow was seriously injured and had multiple comminuted fractures all over her body, how could he not be angry and want to kill someone very much? He drove the fighter plane at the fastest speed towards the manor where Zhang Yuan was located. After a while, he came to the area where the manor was located from the sky, and then after landing at a certain height, he immediately found Black Widow lying on the ground. As for the man in black beside Black Widow, he was subconsciously ignored by Hawkeye. Damn it! Hawkeye cursed, then controlled the fighter plane to fly about 1 meter above Black Widow's head, then turned on the fighter plane's hovering mode, opened the hatch, and jumped off the fighter plane with a bow and arrow. Natasha. After jumping off the fighter plane, Hawkeye approached Black Widow immediately, helped Black Widow up from the ground, and excitedly called out to Black Widow. Patton. Seeing Hawkeye, Black Widow gave Hawkeye a forced smile. Are you okay? Damn it, whoever hurt you, I'll kill him right now. Hawkeye said to Black Widow worriedly. When he said this, his body was trembling a little, especially when he said the last sentence. He burst out with an extremely terrifying murderous intent. No, send me back, I need immediate treatment. Black Widow shook her head. Okay. I'll take you back right away. Hawkeye said, picked up Black Widow and walked into the fighter plane. In the process of entering, he kicked the man in black next to him with his right foot and kicked him into the fighter plane. The man in black is in a coma now. If he is awake, he will definitely be very sad. They are all comrades in SHIELD, so why is there such a big difference in the treatment between them? After the man in black was kicked into the fighter plane, Hawkeye also took Black Widow into the fighter plane. After entering the fighter plane, Hawkeye suddenly turned his head and looked towards the manor where Zhang Yuan was. Although he didn't know who injured Black Widow, it must be related to the owner of the manor in front of him. As for who is inside, Hawkeye doesn't know either. Because Hawkeye was not aware of Black Widow's actions this time. Before coming to pick up Black Widow, he was on the flying aircraft carrier. In the training room, he trained his combat skills. After taking a look at the manor where Zhang Yuan lived, Hawkeye immediately carried Black Widow to the cockpit, put Black Widow carefully, then closed the hatch, started the fighter and quickly flew back to the location of the flying aircraft carrier. Just as they were flying back, there was a projection screen in front of Zhang Yuan in the hall of the manor. The projection screen showed what was happening at the door of the manor. The last time Tony Stark came to install Jarvis's intelligent management system for Zhang Yuan, he naturally installed a lot of cameras around it. Otherwise, how could Jarvis fully monitor everything in the manor? So as long as Zhang Yuan gave the order, some scenes in the manor and on the left and right of the manor could be viewed by Jarvis using some matrix holographic projections arranged in the villa. The guy just now seemed to be Hawkeye. Before leaving, he glanced at my manor coldly. It seems that he will come to trouble me next. Zhang Yuan curled his lips, feeling a little unhappy. Zhang Yuan was very clear about the relationship between Hawkeye and Black Widow. After all, Black Widow is known to have slept with most of the heroes in the Marvel world, and this is not a false reputation. Most of the superheroes who join SHIELD have an affair with Black Widow. Looking at the current situation, Black Widow and Hawkeye do not seem to be completely separated yet, which means that the Hulk should not have joined SHIELD yet. Otherwise, once the Green Fat Man joins SHIELD, Black Widow will get rid of Hawkeye as soon as possible and then be with the Hulk. Since the Green Fat Man has not joined SHIELD yet, it seems that I have to find the Green Fat Man and establish a relationship with him in advance, and try to give him to a hired help or something. Zhang Yuan blinked. Chapter 75. Zhang Yuan just thought about the possibility that the Hulk and Hawkeye might come to cause trouble next time, and then he stopped thinking about it and set his sights on the glass bottle on the table and the turtle. Next, I should extract the regeneration ability of the turtle and the gecko first. No matter if Hawkeye comes to trouble me next, as long as my regeneration ability is further improved, even if he uses some high-tech weapons against me, I will not be hurt by his sudden cold gun, which will put me in fatal danger. Zhang Yuan murmured, and then ordered 9527 again 9527, extract the genes of the lizard randomly for me. Deduct 1000 bioenergy and start randomly extracting lizard genes. Lizard genes are being randomly extracted. Extracted the running gene, whether to merge it or not. With a series of mechanical prompts, 9527 extracted the running gene of the lizard for Zhang Yuan. Can you explain to me the function of the running gene? Is it just running? Zhang Yuan asked suspiciously. The running gene of lizards is mainly for sprinting, which can make the host burst faster in short distances. In addition, lizards can not only run on land, but also on water. Therefore, once the host integrates this gene, it can enable the host to run on water 9527 explained. Being able to run on the water is a good effect. In addition, being able to further increase the burst speed over short distances will also make me faster. Perform gene fusion on me immediately. Although I didn't draw the regeneration gene, this running gene looks pretty good now. Lizard run gene fusion in progress. Lizard running gene fusion is complete. With the prompt, Zhang Yuan completely mastered the running gene, allowing him to further feel his leg strength getting stronger. In addition, when his leg strength got stronger, he also had a feeling of being able to run on the water. This feeling was quite strong. Continue to extract the lizard genes for me. Zhang Yuan did not immediately test the amplification effect brought to him by the running gene, but said to Jaworki again. Spend another 1000 bioenergy to randomly extract lizard genes. Lizard genes are randomly extracted. Randomly extract the lizard regeneration gene. Do you want to fuse it? Friendly reminder, the host has already extracted the earthworm regeneration gene. If the lizard gene is fused, the host's regeneration ability can be improved on the original basis. Both the regeneration speed and the regeneration ability can be greatly improved. The random extraction of 9527 was quickly completed, and Zhang Yuan was told about the extraction situation again. Immediately fuse. The purpose was to extract the regenerative ability of attraction. Now that the extraction has been successful, Zhang Yuan naturally would not fail to fuse. As the strange power merged into his body, Zhang Yuan felt that his body was full of activity. He clearly felt that as long as he wanted, he could completely cut off his arm by himself, and then grow it again quickly. The regeneration speed would be many times faster than the speed of extracting earthworms not long ago. However, whether this is the case or not, Zhang Yuan did not try it and it is unknown. Of course, he is not going to try it. Obtaining energy is one thing, and cutting off your own arm is another. He is not a person who likes to abuse himself, so how could he cut off his arm to try it? At most, he would scratch a certain epidermis to see how the wound recovers. After the fusion was completed, Zhang Yuan then turned his sight to the turtle, ready to continue the fusion. At this moment, Zhuwarqi suddenly said to Zhang Yuan, "Host, friendly reminder, given the host's current situation, it is best not to extract the genes of 3 or more organisms at the same time in one day." "Why?" Zhang Yuan frowned and asked. Although 9527's gene extraction can perfectly fuse the host's genes, these genes did not belong to the host before. After the fusion, it is best to give it a certain buffer space to allow the body to adapt to these genes. After the genes have adapted, other genes can be fused. Only in this way can the host truly exert the abilities of the fused genes. Or there may be no problems in the short term, but once it takes a long time, some disadvantages will appear, 9527 said. "Is that so? Forget it, I won't extract the turtle's genes for the time being." Zhang Yuan narrowed his eyes, and then he felt that what Zhuwarqi said made sense. So he didn't continue to extract the turtle's genes. Then he walked out of the door to test his current running speed. When he was testing, he found that he had mastered a special burst technique within a short distance. If he wanted, he could increase his speed by 3 times on top of his already enhanced body speed. If such an ability is used in battle, it will definitely be very good. And the basic speed at ordinary times has also been strengthened to a certain extent. Ordinary running, running on the sea, and training leg strength. Zhang Yuan was completely busy afterwards. He customized a lot of training tasks for himself every day. In this way, he could greatly master his own strength and speed. Under Zhang Yuan's training, every day that passed, Zhang Yuan could feel that his control over his body speed and strength became stronger. More than 10 days passed in a blink of an eye. During these 10 days, Zhang Yuan was just training. No Hydra, Hawkeye, and others came to trouble him. He never took the initiative to go out and kill people, or work part-time as a superhero. However, although he never went out to work part-time, the news media recently began to report a hero on a large scale. Spider-Man. A hero who wears a red spider uniform and keeps fighting crime. In a short period of time, he became famous in several surrounding cities. Chapter 76. After Zhang Yuan finished his morning exercise that day, he habitually looked at the news to see if there was anything that could interest him today. As the news opened, Zhang Yuan suddenly found that the news was full of reports about Spider-Man. Various handsome pictures became the front page. Zhang Yuan couldn't help but smile when he saw this. If Peter Parker didn't become Spider-Man, it would be difficult for him to recruit him. The concept was not in line, and it was difficult to reverse it sometimes. But when Peter Parker became Spider-Man, it was completely different. When Peter Parker enjoyed the taste of turning from a weak person to a strong person and being admired by others, his heart would naturally expand to a certain extent because of his sudden superpower. If at this time, there was a conflict with his uncle and aunt, or something like that, it would be easy to have a violent mood. At the same time, as he kept fighting crime and easily solved the criminals every time, Peter Parker would involuntarily feel that no one else was to be feared, and he would do everything his own way. In fact, this is indeed the case with Peter Parker in the story. When he went to a convenience store, he had a conflict with the boss. When he saw someone robbing, he did not stop the robber at all, and let the robber leave calmly. As a result, the robber ran out of the convenience store and met his uncle. After being stopped by his uncle, he shot his uncle. It was because of this that he suddenly realized his mistake. Although Zhang Yuan has not been working as a part-time superhero or anything like that these days, nor has he gone out to kill people, and has not had contact with Peter Parker, it does not mean that he has not been paying attention to Peter Parker. In fact, he asked Jarvis to keep an eye on Peter Parker's family at all times, and tell him if there is any major change in Peter Parker's family. For now, Peter Parker's uncle has not died, which means that Peter Parker has not been hit yet. Peter has been Spider-Man for more than 10 days, and his heart must have expanded to a relatively strong level. It's time to find him. After Zhang Yuan read the news, he made a decision as his mind moved. Although he decided to find Peter Parker, Zhang Yuan did not go to find him immediately. Instead, after packing up, he prepared to drive to the Osborn Group. It has been some time since the last conversation with Norman Osborn. Zhang Yuan wants to see if Norman Osborn has solved the drawbacks of the gene medicine. After all, Norman Osborn himself is not going to live much, and the drawbacks of the gene medicine have not been solved. In order not to disappoint himself, he will be the first to inject the gene medicine. If that happens, it will cause a lot of trouble for his cooperation with Norman Osborn. A fool of Norman Osborn, who is full of animality, is definitely not as easy to deal with as Osborn, who is a normal capitalist. As long as normal capitalists have absolute interests, it is absolutely feasible for them to cooperate with each other. But if you want to cooperate with a guy who is full of animality, it is naturally a dream. He will regard all your actions as provocations, and the only thing he wants is to kill you and eat you. However, Zhang Yuan had just driven out for less than 5 minutes when he suddenly felt the danger. His eyes suddenly looked to the left, and he immediately found that an arrow flew from nowhere and suddenly attacked his car quickly. Hawkeye! Is this guy finally here to cause trouble? Zhang Yuan saw this situation, narrowed his eyes, and then he stretched out his left hand and stimulated a high-voltage pulse current towards the arrow. As he did so, the high-voltage pulse current collided with the arrow. Boom! Followed by a deafening explosion. Zhang Yuan was not surprised by this situation. As everyone knows, although Hawkeye's body is not strong enough due to injection of Shili gene drugs, and his physical fitness cannot be compared with that of enhanced superheroes, not everyone dares to take his arrows easily. Because Hawkeye is not only an amazing archer, but also a weapon master. His arrows are all processed by high technology, and are no worse than guns and cannons. In this way, Zhang Yuan stimulated the high-voltage pulse current to collide with the arrow, and naturally an explosion would occur. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! As soon as the arrow exploded, 3 more arrows suddenly attacked from the lower left of Zhang Yuan. It was obvious that Hawkeye quickly changed his position after shooting the first arrow. 2 of the 3 arrows attacked Zhang Yuan one after the other, and the other one aimed at the tire of Zhang Yuan's car. Seeing this, Zhang Yuan's face darkened. He ignored his car and let it be destroyed. He would ask S.H.I.E.L.D. to get him a new car later. Swish! Zhang Yuan suddenly stood up from his position with a sound of breaking air, then turned around and jumped to the lower left, jumping 200 meters away. When he jumped out, he saw that the arrow that originally attacked him turned around and chased him. Zhang Yuan flicked his fingers and destroyed the arrow that attacked him, and the explosion sounded again. When he destroyed the arrow, he looked not far away, and saw Hawkeye riding on a heavy motorcycle, speeding towards the distance, while turning around and shooting at Zhang Yuan. Arrows! In just a blink of an eye, he shot 7 or 8 arrows at Zhang Yuan. These 7 or 8 arrows were not ordinary arrows. There were explosive arrows like the ones just now, as well as arrows with super strong penetration, and they were also mixed with thermal tracking locks. Seeing these arrows, Zhang Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly, and then ignored them at all. He moved his body and rushed quickly, dodging the attack of arrows in an instant, and approached Hawkeye. While approaching, he kicked Hawkeye and whipped him. The powerful sonic boom startled Hawkeye, and he suddenly abandoned the car and jumped to the side. Chapter 77. Bang! When Hawkeye jumped out, his motorcycle was kicked away by Zhang Yuan, severely deformed and broken, and then hit the ground in the distance and exploded. Hawkeye's pupils shrank suddenly. Zhang Yuan's strength frightened him. Originally, after sending Black Widow back to the flying aircraft carrier, he was going to trouble Zhang Yuan as soon as possible, but out of caution, he did not act immediately. He has been investigating Zhang Yuan's intelligence these days. As a member of SHIELD, he naturally has the right to view certain intelligence information. He immediately learned that Zhang Yuan had awakened a strange ability and his physical strength was far beyond that of ordinary people. After knowing this, he also hinted at Black Widow and knew to a certain extent that Zhang Yuan was not only powerful, but also very fast. So this time he made some preparations before coming to trouble Zhang Yuan. But even though he was prepared, he was still a little frightened when he saw Zhang Yuan kick the heavy motorcycle so hard that it was severely deformed and fell apart, and it even exploded in the distance. But he was only frightened for a moment, and then he suddenly took out an arrow from his body and instantly stabbed it into the ground. Then he saw the arrow explode, and a dazzling flash appeared. At the same time as the flash appeared, Hawkeye took out a large number of darts from his body and threw them at Zhang Yuan. Then he rolled to the side and quickly moved away from the scene. Because although Zhang Yuan quickly dodged the 7 or 8 arrows he shot before, those arrows were now tracking Zhang Yuan and had already come to Zhang Yuan's side. Boom! Then there was a deafening explosion, and flames shot up into the sky, completely surrounding Zhang Yuan's position. Did it hit you? Hawkeye ran 7 or 8 meters away and lay on the ground, squinting his eyes at the explosion site. But then his expression changed drastically, because as the flames disappeared, he could see that Zhang Yuan was nowhere to be found. Are you looking for me? Zhang Yuan's cold voice sounded from behind Hawkeye. He didn't know when he appeared behind Hawkeye. Hawkeye's face changed drastically, his body rolled suddenly, and he shot an arrow at high speed, but he didn't hit the target at all. Zhang Yuan dodged the attack with a flash, and then he kicked down Hawkeye with his right foot in a tomahawk-like split. Bang! Zhang Yuan's kick hit Hawkeye's waist hard, causing him to spurt blood uncontrollably, his bones shattered wildly, and his internal organs were severely damaged. Just this kick made Hawkeye lose his combat ability. If Zhang Yuan had not restrained his strength when he kicked out, Hawkeye would have died on the spot. After severely injuring Hawkeye, Zhang Yuan grabbed Hawkeye's collar with one hand and lifted him up from the ground. This time is just a warning to you. If you come to trouble me again next time, I will kill you. After saying this, Zhang Yuan threw Hawkeye up, then spun around and hit Hawkeye with a kick, sending him flying more than 10 meters away. He fell heavily to the ground, breathing more than he exhaled, on the verge of death. After doing this, Zhang Yuan approached Hawkeye again, walked to Hawkeye's side, and searched his body. He soon found a communicator, took a quick look, and connected the call. This was an emergency call to S. H. I. E. L. D. Hawkeye. Nick Fury's voice came from the other side. If you don't want him to die, send someone to take him away from here, and compensate me for a brand new sports car. Zhang Yuan said coldly. Who are you? Zhang Yuan Stark. Nick Fury was stunned at first, then he located Hawkeye and found that he was not far from Zhang Yuan's manor. He frowned and said, "That's right." Zhang Yuan responded, and then hung up the call without waiting for Nick Fury to ask what happened. In the flying aircraft carrier, Nick Fury narrowed his eyes and looked a little ugly. He did not let Hawkeye continue to trouble Zhang Yuan, and he did not expect Zhang Yuan to be so cruel. The last time Black Widow was seriously injured, thanks to Black Widow's good recovery ability and S.H.I.E.L.D's good healing equipment, Black Widow's injuries recovered in more than 10 days. But now Hawkeye is afraid that the situation is not optimistic according to what Zhang Yuan said. Send someone to pick up Hawkeye, don't let him conflict with Zhang Yuan, and investigate what car Zhang Yuan was driving when he fought Hawkeye this time, and transfer an equivalent amount of money to his account. Although his face was ugly, Nick Fury knew very well that now was not the time to be angry, and Hawkeye must be rescued no matter what. As for armed conflict, Nick Fury is not willing to do that at the moment. After all, not to mention that Howard Stark is one of the founders of SHIELD, Tony Stark has now created an exoskeleton armor, which has great value to be absorbed into SHIELD, and Zhang Yuan is now the second largest shareholder of the Stark Group, so he can't do that to Zhang Yuan. At least it is absolutely not allowed on the surface. As for the future, Nick Fury narrowed his eyes. Under Nick Fury's order, someone soon drove a fighter plane to Hawkeye's location. After arriving here, 2 men in black got off the fighter plane. When the 2 men saw the extremely weak and miserable Hawkeye, their faces changed drastically, and they quickly approached Hawkeye, while vigilantly looking around. After all, according to the intelligence, the person who injured Hawkeye should be here. But, in fact, after Zhang Yuan found that there was an extra sum of money in his bank card, he knew that S.H.I.E.L.D. had compromised. Since he compromised, of course he didn't bother to pay attention to Hawkeye and left the place as soon as possible. Although he didn't have a sports car, Zhang Yuan's running speed was quite fast. This time, just treat it as a marathon fitness. After the 2 men in black approached Hawkeye, one of them quickly took out an injection from his body and gave Hawkeye an injection, and then the 2 quickly took Hawkeye into the fighter plane. Chapter 78. When the men in black sent Hawkeye back to the aircraft carrier, many people were shocked to see Hawkeye on the verge of death, including Nick Fury. Although he had already guessed that Zhang Yuan would be very ruthless this time, he had never thought that he would be so ruthless. Nick Fury took a deep breath, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and then he ordered the healers to make sure Hawkeye was cured. After his men took Hawkeye away, Nick Fury returned to the command room of the flying aircraft carrier and asked people to keep a close eye on Zhang Yuan. Although Zhang Yuan's incident this time made Nick Fury wary of Zhang Yuan, it also made him curious about Zhang Yuan's fighting ability. The last time Black Widow went to deal with Zhang Yuan, she was injured by Zhang Yuan. It could be said that Black Widow was careless, but this time Hawkeye went to deal with Zhang Yuan. With Hawkeye's character, he would not fight a battle without confidence, but now he was defeated so badly. There is only one possibility. Zhang Yuan's strength is too beyond Hawkeye's cognition. While asking people to pay close attention, Nick Fury also ordered his men not to have any conflicts with Zhang Yuan again, so as to avoid. What a tragedy happened again! Naturally, his men obeyed Nick Fury's orders completely. It's not the first time that these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents have kept a close eye on others. In fact, there are quite a few people in Country M who are being closely watched by them. As a special force of the International Security Council dedicated to dealing with various strange events, S.H.I.E.L.D. will pay attention to some dangerous people. The more dangerous the person, the more serious the attention and surveillance. Although Zhang Yuan was also paid attention to because he was Tony Stark's brother, the degree of attention was not high. They did not take Zhang Yuan seriously. But now that Zhang Yuan has shown such terrible strength, the intensity of their attention to him has naturally increased by several levels, and they have obviously taken him seriously. On the other side, after Zhang Yuan left Hawkeye's position, he quickly rushed and jumped non-stop, often jumping hundreds of meters or even thousands of meters. Although it was not flying, in the eyes of some people, it was definitely not much worse than flying. Some hills that were only hundreds of meters high blocked the road, but Zhang Yuan was too lazy to take a detour and jumped directly over them, which was awesome. With his rush, Zhang Yuan ran from the suburbs to the city in less than 10 minutes, which was much longer than driving. When he ran here, Zhang Yuan's physical strength was not consumed at all, and he didn't sweat much. It was just an ordinary run, just to exercise his body, and it was over. After running to the city, Zhang Yuan did not run fast anymore, but walked leisurely towards the Osborne group. Soon Zhang Yuan came to the Osborne group again. After arriving here, Zhang Yuan stepped straight in and then walked towards the elevator. When Zhang Yuan was doing this, the customer service receptionist at the front desk of the lobby suddenly saw Zhang Yuan. When she saw Zhang Yuan, her eyes subconsciously lit up. This receptionist was the one who informed Zhang Yuan when he first came to Osborne Group. After the last incident, she received an order from Norman Osborne to inform him as soon as she saw Zhang Yuan coming to Osborne Group. So, without any hesitation, she quickly called Norman Osborne. "Chairman, Mr. Stark is here." "Stark? Zhang Yuan Stark?" "Yes, Mr. Zhang Yuan Stark." "Okay, I got it." After a brief conversation, the phone was hung up. "Zhang Yuan is here? What is he doing here again?" In the chairman's office of Osborne Group, after Norman Osborne hung up the phone, he narrowed his eyes subconsciously, tidied up his appearance, opened the door and walked to the elevator. After arriving here, Zhang Yuan came out of the elevator soon. The last time Zhang Yuan left, Norman Osborne gave Zhang Yuan an ID card, so Zhang Yuan's passage this time was naturally unimpeded. "Hey, Zhang Yuan, long time no see." Seeing Zhang Yuan coming out of the elevator, Norman Osborne rushed over to hug Zhang Yuan, but he was unable to hug Zhang Yuan because Zhang Yuan suddenly disappeared from where he was, leaving him empty-handed and almost falling. "Osborne, you can say hello, but can you please stop touching me? It's easy for people to misunderstand you," Zhang Yuan said to Norman Osborne unhappily on his left. Norman Osborne suddenly became embarrassed. "Why did you suddenly come to Osborne Group again this time? What's the matter?" After a moment of embarrassment, Norman Osborne put away his embarrassed expression and said to Zhang Yuan in confusion. "Let's go to your office and talk," Zhang Yuan said. "Yeah." Norman Osborne nodded, then took Zhang Yuan to the office. After arriving at the office, Zhang Yuan didn't need to say anything. He gestured for Zhang Yuan to sit anywhere, then poured Zhang Yuan a glass of water. After Norman Osborne sat back in his seat, Zhang Yuan said to Norman Osborne, "Osborne, how is your research on genetic medicine going? This still hasn't solved the animalistic drawbacks." Osborne's face froze, and he smiled bitterly. "It's been so long and still nothing." Zhang Yuan frowned. "Yet." Norman Osborne nodded, feeling very bad, because he could feel death approaching more and more. "Didn't you ask Peter Parker to help you?" Zhang Yuan said. "I have found one. Now Peter comes to the company to help out on weekends and holidays." Norman Osborne said. "What about Dr. Hank Pym?" Zhang Yuan said. "Forget it, Hank doesn't want to help me at all," Norman Osborne said angrily. He went there in person to invite Dr. Hank Pym. He was very sincere. His attitude and salary were very high. He even promised 0.5% of the shares. But Dr. Hank Pym was not willing to help him. Chapter 79. What is the specific situation? Zhang Yuan asked curiously after hearing this. Seeing Zhang Yuan asking this, Norman Osborne did not hide anything, and told Zhang Yuan in detail that he personally invited Dr. Hank Pym and also took out 0.5% of the shares. When Zhang Yuan heard what Osborne said, he couldn't help but look at Norman Osborne in surprise. Being able to take out 0.5% of the shares in order to invite Dr. Hank Pym is indeed a considerable reward. Although 0.5 seems to be a small number, it is also billions of dollars for the huge Osborne Group, and he only got 1% of the shares when he asked Norman Osborne to buy his life. Did he say anything? Also, did you tell him about making genetic medicine? Yes, I explained the situation to him. Norman Osborne nodded, then his face darkened and he said, "He persuaded me not to create such a dangerous thing, saying that there is only one Captain America in the world, and it is too dangerous to create others, and not everyone can control this power." That is to say, he did not deny that he could crack the bestiality of the genetic drug to a certain extent. Zhang Yuan narrowed his eyes. "Yet." Norman Osborn nodded. "When I have time, I will go see Dr. Hank Pym to see if he can change his mind." Zhang Yuan said. "That's great." Norman Osborn was delighted. "Don't hold out too much hope. After all, if you can't get him to come, I'm afraid it will be hard for him to agree to come to Osborn Group." Zhang Yuan said. "I believe you can do it," Norman Osborn said meaningfully. Zhang Yuan shook his head and said nothing more, then said to Norman Osborn, "Do you know anything about the Hydra organization?" "Hydra?" Norman Osborn's pupil shrank, and he asked Zhang Yuan solemnly, "Why do you suddenly ask about this?" "Obadiah Stan died not long ago," Zhang Yuan said. "Well, I know that, Zhang Yuan, you were kidnapped as soon as you left our Osborn Group. With your strength, no one could kidnap you if you didn't want to, so you must have been kidnapped on purpose, and the one who did it was Obadiah Stane. To the outside world, he died at the hands of Tony Stark, but if I'm not mistaken, he died at your hands." Norman Osborn nodded and said. "This is not the point. The point is that Obadiah Stan is a member of Hydra," Zhang Yuan said solemnly. "What, a Hydra man? Obadiah Stane is actually a Hydra man? No wonder some of Obadiah Stane's arms trading channels are so mysterious. It turns out that he is a Hydra man." Norman Osborn was shocked at first, then shook his head with a sigh. Given Hydra's style of doing things, whether you killed Obadiah Stane or Tony Stark, Hydra would definitely not let such a source of income go so easily, so there will definitely be actions against the two of you next. Norman Osborn shook his head and said solemnly. "That's why I asked you if you know about this organization. I understand, but I don't know much. This organization has a history of several decades. The founder seems to be a man called Red Skull. He has been fighting with a secret organization of the country. The country has always wanted to destroy it, but it can't do it because its members are spread across all walks of life. Many people's groups and political departments have their people, and even my Osborn Group has their people." Norman Osborn said solemnly, and when he said the last sentence, there was obviously a certain anger in his eyes. The Osborn Group was founded by Norman Osborn, which is equivalent to its child. If possible, he naturally wants to see the Osborn Group getting better and better. But, there are all kinds of helplessness in this world, and it's not that you can make it better just by saying you want it to be good. Sometimes being infiltrated by others is also helpless. Even if Norman Osborn had noticed such a thing a long time ago, because he had a certain understanding of the Hydra organization, Norman Osborn did not dare to easily act against those who infiltrated the Osborn Group. Moreover, in fact, he was not sure how many people were Hydra people. He only knew to a certain extent that Hydra people had infiltrated his group and occupied shares. "I know this without you telling me, don't you know something else?" Zhang Yuan said. "Hydra is so mysterious that it is not easy to find out certain things," Norman Osborn said. "So, then there is nothing to worry about." Zhang Yuan took a sip of water from the cup, then stood up and said to Norman Osborn, "In this case, you should continue to work hard on the genetic medicine. As I said before, don't inject the medicine into your body rashly." "I know." Norman Osborn nodded. Seeing this, Zhang Yuan said nothing more and walked out the door. 9527, do you think that if I inject the gene drug from Shali Osborn Group, will I be affected by the beast nature? Zhang Yuan suddenly asked 9527 in secret after he walked out of the door. The host has 9527, which can extract genes from other organisms on a large scale, and does not need to swallow such gene drugs to improve strength. 9527 was stunned for a moment, and then said to Zhang Yuan. I don't want to swallow the gene drug, I just want to know if I will be affected by the animal nature if I swallow it. Zhang Yuan said. It will not be affected. No matter what, the genetic medicine is developed using the genes of other organisms. As long as it is developed using the genes of other organisms, 9527 can suppress its side effects. 9527 said. So I can also use genetic medicine to become stronger. Zhang Yuan said. It's better not to do that, because genes like that are not perfect and uncontrollable changes are likely to occur. Jaworki said. Chapter 80. Well, don't worry, I won't merge, I'm just asking. Zhang Yuan said to Jaworki with a smile, and then quickened his pace. Soon Zhang Yuan left the Osborne group. After leaving the Osborne group, Zhang Yuan frowned. He found that as he walked out of the Osborne group, someone was actually monitoring him. Who is watching me, Hydra or Shield? Or someone else? Zhang Yuan subconsciously frowned and narrowed his eyes. Although he sensed that someone was watching him, Zhang Yuan did not follow the feeling of being watched to find those people. Because no matter whether it was Hydra or Shield, it would not have much effect to deal with these people who were secretly watching. So he went to the Stark group. Although the main purpose of this trip was to find Peter Parker was obviously still in school, so it was not convenient to find him now, so he had to wait until Peter got out of school. I haven't seen Tony Stark for a long time. It's time to see what Tony has been doing recently. Zhang Yuan walked leisurely along the way. He was not in a hurry to get on the road. He just walked slowly. What is this guy doing? As a second-generation rich man and a person with superpowers, it's fine if he doesn't drive, but he doesn't even use his powers to get on the road. In a black car, a tall and thin man in black clothes drove and spoke to a strong man in black clothes in the passenger seat. Why bother with so much? Isn't it better this way? Anyway, our mission is just to monitor him and not to conflict with him. The more he does this, the more we can know what he is going to do. The strong man in black said. That's true, I'm just curious. The tall and thin man in black nodded. Both of them are agents of Shield. Under such circumstances, it took Zhang Yuan 2 hours to reach Stark Group, which made the two men in black who were secretly following him speechless. It was really incomprehensible that someone like Zhang Yuan would come out and waste time walking on the street. Zhang Yuan ignored how shocked the two men in black were. After he arrived at Stark Group, he went directly to the chairman's office of Stark Group to find Tony Stark. Because Zhang Yuan changed Tony Stark's fate, he made an exoskeleton armor without installing the arc reactor on his body, so that his life was no longer in danger, and Tony Stark no longer had the idea of dropping the chain and giving up. Today, most of the things in Stark Group are still handled by Tony Stark. Hey, Zhang Yuan, why are you here at Stark Group? Tony Stark, who was working in the office, suddenly saw Zhang Yuan coming in from outside. He immediately asked Zhang Yuan in surprise. I came to see you on the way. Zhang Yuan said. Just because of this? Tony Stark said to Zhang Yuan with some disbelief. Believe it or not. Zhang Yuan said. Well, no matter what your reason is, I'm glad you're here. It just so happens that Obadiah Stan's shares have been completely handled and transferred to your name. In addition, I'm going to redefine our Stark Group next, so it's a good time to talk. Tony Stark nodded, then smiled and said to Zhang Yuan, while asking someone to bring in 2 cups of coffee. Redefine? Redefine what? Zhang Yuan looked at Tony Stark in confusion. I don't plan to let Stark Group continue to sell and manufacture arms. I want Stark Group to transform and engage in other industries, Tony Stark wrote. Don't do that. Zhang Yuan interrupted Tony Stark without hesitation and continued to shrink. Why? Tony Stark looked at Zhang Yuan puzzled. I want to ask you, Tony, why you are planning to change your career. Don't you think that too many weapons can be easily used by terrorists? Although you and I are the largest shareholders of the group, we have absolute control over it. Under our orders, the arms will not be used by private organizations or terrorist organizations. However, as long as the Stark Group is still manufacturing arms, these arms will be used by others. I don't want to be called the biggest executioner in the United States anymore. Tony Stark said solemnly. But Tony, if the Stark Group stops making weapons, we will lose some of our say. Now we are being watched secretly by Hydra, and in fact, it is not just Hydra, there are many other organizations. Under such circumstances, it is easy to go wrong if we make a hasty transformation. Zhang Yuan said. What are you afraid of? I still have my exoskeleton armor. I have good news for you. I have almost finished the neural control you asked me to make. It should be completed in the next few days. By then, no matter where we are, we will definitely be able to wear it as quickly as possible. As long as the exoskeleton armor exists, we will not lose the right to speak in the United States, and I am confident that even if the Stark Group engages in other industries, it will never lose money. Tony Stark said. Of course, we won't lose money. As long as you are Iron Man, the stock of Stark Group will continue to grow. But Tony, no matter what, I think our Stark Group should not give up the weapons department. Zhang Yuan said solemnly. Are you serious? Tony Stark looked at Zhang Yuan in confusion. Yet. Zhang Yuan nodded. Well, let's do this. You come to the group to help me. I will give you full authority to lead the Weapons Research and Development Department. If you come to help me, then our Stark Group will not change its business. If you don't come, then we can only close the Weapons Department. Tony Stark smiled and glanced at Zhang Yuan, then said with a smile. Damn it, Tony, you can't force me like this. I'm your brother. You know I don't like dealing with group affairs and don't want to be so high profile. Zhang Yuan said. Just lie to me, don't want to be so high profile. In Spider-Man, how could you swing on a skyscraper before the little devil showed up? Tony Stark pouted. End of the chapter. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.